Hey guys, Matt here from Rec Brewery. I'm going to do another grain to glass series. This is of the Pretzel wheat beer that I brewed last month. So we're going to roll some footage. I have some nice brew day footage for you there. I think there's a couple of extra things that I might have thrown in that footage. So go ahead and check that out, and then we'll come back and talk about this. So see you in a minute. This cool little jar opener, 3D printed. Real nice for getting all these goods. Now this should be 1070 wort that I had made. Put it all in there. Yeast of choice for this one is going to be the Imperial Yeast Kaiser GO2. Former sponsor of the Fruit Hoovers. We got this when they were our sponsor. I started. Just to be sure. I've already shaken this beforehand, so nice and clean in there. Alright, let's get the rest of this in here. Now, because it's 1070 wort, I'm going to add a little bit of just regular spring water. Top it up. Get to about go to about 400. Plenty to get it to like a 1040 wort. Alright, that's that. Now we're going to put the top on. And let's go ahead and get it on the start plate. Line that up so it's in the middle. There you go. Hoping for a brew day in a couple days, so we'll see how this does over the next 24 to 48 hours. Alright, time to mill the grains. We're going to pretzel wheat today. Had these freshly baked pretzels made yesterday, and I didn't want them to get stale or anything, so I vacuum sealed them. And I'm just putting a pound of pretzels into this one, so I was told that 4 pretzels is roughly a pound, or like 4.5 ounces each. So that'll work. Probably just going to break them up, put them in a mash. And then here, we got all my grains sorted out last night. Alright, spared you guys the boredom of breaking up all those pretzels, but there we go. Still waiting on the water to be ready. There's the 1 pound plus of broken up fresh pretzels, and the brewing salts are just sort of sprinkled on the top. And once the water is ready, which it's getting there, getting to the 160 for strike, and we're going to mash in today at 150. So yeah, that's what it's going to look like. Hopefully all that bready goodness will come out of those pretzels. Now I did rub off most of the salt because I am going to add sea salt in the boil, so I don't want too much salt to be introduced at this point. And I'll take this opportunity to calibrate the old pH meter. I don't do it every brew anymore because it seems to be pretty accurate, but I haven't done it in a couple of brews, so I figured now is probably a good time. I just got some distilled water here, and just we rinse everything out with the distilled water. before introducing any of the fluids. Alright, let's go ahead and start. I believe it wants to do the 7-0 first. Just fill it up to the line. Not sure if you guys can see that, but some of the stuff in the way. Closer to the camera. As you can see, it's pretty close already, but go ahead and let it set for 7. That off. Rinse this off. Do the 4 solution. May not be the best process in the world, but it works. Keep doing. Like I said, do this every couple of brews these days. Rinse off that, probe, and put it into the 4. I usually leave it sit there for a few seconds before hitting the button. Looks like the 4 is a little bit on the low side this time. So it's probably a good idea that I calibrating it. There we go. And I've had that pH meter a good, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years maybe now. It's been a while. Haven't really had any issues with it, so I like it. The only problem I have with it, if I were to have a problem with it, is it's not really temperature correcting. So the downside is I have to cool down the mash. It only takes a couple minutes, so it's not the end of the world, but it is an extra step I have to do with this meter. If this one ever goes on me, or if I ever get the urge to upgrade, I'll look for a temperature correcting one so that I can just use it straight away in the mash without having to worry about the temperature. So. Alright, we're ready to mash in. We're at the 160. Alright, now I'm going to turn this down to the 150. That we're going to need to be at. And we're going to transfer over. We need 4 1/4 gallons is what Roof Router's telling me. So I'm going to put 4 1/4 gallons here. We're going to stir this up, hook everything up for recirculation, and then we're going to top this off with the 4 gallons that we're taking away, and that should bring our temperature, the strike temperature right now is 160, so adding a little bit of cold water should balance everything out, give or take, so let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll be able to mix in those pretzels, mix in all that brewing salts. So stand by, we'll be back when all the water's in here. Alright, there we go. There's the mash with all the pretzels in there. Go ahead and give it a good stir here. And then we'll start hooking everything up for recirc. So we're going to come out of the bottom of the mash tun, going to go through the pump, up here through the bottom of the herms, goes through the herms, out the top, and up to the top of the mash tun. So we'll go ahead and get that process started now. Alright, there we go. Got a good flow going there now. We'll go ahead and mix in the rest of these salts that are sitting on the bottom of this little beaker. And go ahead and start our mash timer, 60 minutes. Alright, we're about 20 minutes into the mash. So we're going to go ahead and take a sample for pH. Alright. Put in some ice water. This is what I was talking about my pH meter, but sitting in there for maybe 5 minutes, we'll cool it down to room temperature. And then we'll check it out. All right, we're just a little bit low. So I'm going to just put in a pinch of my pickling lime, and that should bring it right up to above 5.2. Alright, here's a look at the post mash. We are now sparging. So the pretzels are still floating on the top there. We're filling up the boil kettle nice and slow now. So, alright, see you at the next step. Alright, a little recap. Here's where we are at the moment. We are still filling up the boil kettle. We are over the element now, and I must say, this smells really good. It definitely smells a lot of like biscuit. Definitely getting those pretzels. And certainly picking up some of that Munich. So I think this is going to turn out real nice. Let's just hope that that pretzel flavor comes straight through. We got it set to 200, so we're going to go ahead and start warming this thing up. So when we get the volume, we don't have to work too hard to get there. But sparging is done. We're just draining the rest of this out. It's so funny how the pretzel's just kind of sponged up and just sitting there on the top. So hopefully all that pretzel goodness will get through. Alright, and then over here, I've just been setting up some stuff for the boil from Yakima Valley. I know they're no longer a sponsor of Brewtovers, but hopefully someday they'll return to us. Using up the saws from one of the hot boxes I got. So I got an ounce and a half and a quarter of an ounce of Magnum going in for bittering. Not doing any late additions this time around because we want to get all of that pretzel wheat beer out of this beer and none of the hop character. So just enough of the bittering to kind of counteract all the malts. Over here is all the hops, and then over here we're going to add in a half an ounce of sea salt at 10 minutes to give it a little bit of the saltiness from the pretzels in there. Because I didn't actually add much of the salt from the pretzels themselves, so I want to kind of control it in the boil there. Got the Whirlflock tablet and the yeast nutrient in there, so all ready to go for when we're in the boil stage. So see you soon. All right, we're up to volume now, so we're going to go ahead and crank this sucker up to 100%. There we go, 100% manual mode. And we'll get cooking. And here's a shot of the aftermath in the mash tun. So all those pretzels just stayed at the top. Pretty cool. So now we get the fun task of cleaning this out. Alright, got a nice rolling boil going now. Just waiting for the hot break to calm down a bit. And then we're going to go ahead and add in the hops. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and add in our hops. We have should be, let's see, ounce and a half of Saaz and quarter ounce of Magnum. 60 minutes. It's going to be the only hops for this beer. 60 minutes on the clock. Alright, we're down to the last 10 minutes, so what that means is we'll put the rest of the ingredients in here. We've got the sea salt, the Whirlflock tablet, and the yeast nutrient. Put that straight in. The sea salt wants to get stuck. There we go. Needed 2 hands for that. Rinsed it out, popped it in there. Alright, what else we got here? Oh, we also have to get the chiller sanitized. So, I'm gonna open everything up. Let the bubbles bubble out so we don't get any aeration. Alright, while I'm waiting for the beer to chill down, I managed to organize the grains I had picked up from Carolina Malt House. So now I got my 10 pounds of dark Munich here. I got all my light Munich that I picked up in the bin. There's 25 pounds of that underneath. This is the remainder of the light Munich I had from Wireman. It's like 8 pounds left of that, so I'm trying to get through that first, and then I'll move on to the Carolina Malt House stuff. Love these middle bolts. Definitely keep the grain in good shape. Still have a full bin of Pilsner. Well, it's not full, but still have plenty in here from my last sack that I had bought this summer from my local homebrew store. So I don't need Pilsner right now, but next year when I go to the Carolina Brew House, I think I'm going to pick up some of their Pilsner. Same thing with wheat. I still have plenty of wheat that I'm trying to get rid of, trying to go through. They're just different types of wheat. I got the rest of the Avant-Garde wheat that I have at the bottom here, and I got some bags of the white wheat and some red wheat back there as well, and flaked wheat. So trying to work my way through that. I try to keep grains around for a couple of years. I don't usually keep it around for long. And then this is the 2-row that I had picked up from Carolina Malt. This is the Carolina Gold, and man, it smells very sweet. So I can't wait to brew with this and see what it's like. Because I'm actually just about out of the regular 2-row. I put it up here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Got 2 pounds left of the Brewer's Malt 2-row. But yeah, I also got the Vienna from Carolina Malt in here. There's 5 pounds there. These containers are nice to hold exactly 5 pounds, so that works out real nice. Picked up 5 pounds of the Sunset wheat that they have, so I want to find something to try that with. I'm looking forward to trying that. I've already dipped into the biscuit on the brew today, and I believe that's it. Yeah, and then the dark Munich. So that's what I picked up from the brew house, or the malt house that's nearby. So yeah, we'll be trying to brew with more of the local malts here and see how the beers come out. You can tell it's winter. Groundwater is certainly colder, so I got it down to almost 80 degrees in the kettle, so that'll work. Because the yeast on this one, the Kaiser 02 from Imperial, it says the ferment range I believe was 56 to 65, so I'm probably going to ferment on the warmer side of that range, but this will get me right there, which is nice. You know, it's amazing how much this actually smells like pretzels. It smells like sweet pretzels, so hopefully some of that sticks around in the final product. But this is the yeast starter. I think there's plenty of yeast on the bottom there. I could decant some of this, but it looks like there's plenty of yeast still floating around in there, so I'm just going to go all in. We got plenty of room for volume. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, we're now kegging the pretzel wheat Barroom Hero using the bouncer, and yeah, just a couple pounds of pressure because that's all the SS brew bucket can handle. But I have it hooked up to the CO2 through the bouncer into the keg. Alright, so here it is in all its glory. This is the pretzel wheat. I'm calling this one Barroom Hero. Just seemed to make sense for what this is. So this is an American wheat beer, and what I've done is I've added pretzels to it and a little bit of salt to kind of emulate you drinking a beer and having a pretzel. The inspiration for this one came from a local friend that was fortunate enough to try a limited release. It was from Shock Top. I believe it was called Twisted Pretzel or Twisted Wheat. And the idea there, it was a wheat beer with pretzels that were actually added into it. So I've never had that beer, so I don't have that to kind of go by. I just went off of his descriptors and kind of made up something that I thought would work that would be close to that. So trying to make a clone of sorts of that beer, and this is what I have. This is the first beer that I brewed with any of the local Carolina malt that I use. So I'm pretty excited to see what that comes out to be like. This actually has a full pound of the biscuit malt that they have there at Carolina Malt House. So curious to see how that came out. It's got some wheat in there, obviously. It's a majority of wheat beer, or white wheat grain in this beer. It's got some 2-row, it's got some Munich, some Carapils. The Carapils I more or less put in there just to kind of help with head retention. Doesn't look like it did a whole lot with that, but then again, maybe the pretzels kind of screwed that up, I don't know. Or maybe the salt kind of screwed that up. But it's got a nice little cap on there that's hanging around. It's, clarity-wise, it's what you expect out of a wheat beer. It's probably a little more clearer than a typical wheat beer would be like, but it's got that nice haze to it. And it's been sitting in the keg for a little while. It's been in the keg for 2 weeks now. So if it was going to clear out, it would have already done so by now. I actually picked this yeast. This is the Imperial GO2 Kaiser yeast. It was one that we got from I think from a previous experiment that I had sitting around. And I wanted to use it on this beer because I've used it before in a Kolsch, and I love the results of it. So I figured it made sense for this. I think the Kaiser strain is slow in the flocculation as far as like clarification goes in the beer, so that helps with the wheat style. And it also has low diacetyl, which is another plus. The color on it, it's kind of like a nice medium straw color. It's a good color. It's pretty much what I expected it to be. It's not, I didn't want it to be super light, and it's got a little bit of that caramel hue, I suppose, to it. So it looks pretty nice in the glass. It went down to 10-10, which is good. So it's not going to be, hopefully shouldn't be too dry. Well, enough talking about it. Let's see what we have. Aroma. Yeah, it's interesting. It has a nice wheat beer-ish scent to it, but with an addition to a nice bready character to it in the nose. And unless I'm imagining it, I am picking up a little bit of that salt or sea salt. It kind of has a little bit of that sea salt aroma to it, just a little bit. But mostly I'm picking up mostly the breadiness from this, I think. Not getting any hop character. I tried to keep the hops pretty even keel. I just went with some Magnum and some Saaz for bittering. I didn't do anything else with it because I didn't want to impart any flavors or aromas from the hops themselves. I really wanted the malt to help boost up with the pretzels and just have the pretzel character in this as best as I could. So I'm definitely not picking up a lot of the hops in this at all, which is great. All right, let's try a taste. Cheers. Okay, that's nice, yeah. I'm actually happy that I waited on this because I was a little bit worried about the salt character. The salt was a little bit, it wasn't overpowering before, but it was more than I wanted. That has toned down, that's nice. It's definitely mellowed out some and it's integrated more with the beer. Now, to me, it's tasting more like having if you get a fresh pretzel and you brush off half of the salt crystals off the top, that's kind of what this tastes like now. Yeah, I don't know if my friend's gonna say that this hit the mark or not, because again, I don't have the original to go by, but I am definitely picking up pretzel character in this. I think if I were to brew this again and I really wanted more pretzel character in it, I would either have to put in more pretzels or maybe up the biscuit malt. I wasn't sure how much biscuit to put in there. I think the usage on it is 20-ish%, I believe, of the grain bill, I think is what the spec sheet on that said. I'll have to go back and look at it again, but I think that's where it was. And I didn't want to go too far with it. So, excuse me, so I put a pound in there. That works. That definitely works at its current quantity. Unfortunately, we don't have a real good pretzel store nearby. That I did have to travel a little bit to get to that one. It was probably somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour away. I made my trip worth it. It did pick up a whole lot of pretzels because we're from Philly, and we love our pretzels down here. Every time we travel up north, we always stop at a Wawa and pick up pretzels. That's just one of our things to do. And so I made sure to stock up on some pretzels to get us through a couple of days. So it wasn't all going into the beer. It was definitely had other purpose. But this turned out good. I do like this. I'll have to share some of this with some of you guys and see what you guys think of it as well. Interesting experiment. I think I will probably do it again. Not anytime soon, but I'm going to give it some thought and make some adjustments and see where it can go from here. So, till the next one, guys, keep your glasses full. Mine certainly is. I need to work on this. So, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Oh, and before I go, actually, I want to just give a quick shout out to Matt from Irondale Brewing. Got some new stickers. Came in the mail a couple days ago. So, I'll be having to add this to my wall. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to buy another poster board because I'm starting to run out of room. I'm pretty much out of room. I'm gonna have to move some stuff around to make these fit. But yeah, I'll have to come up with something there with that. I think what I might do is have two boards, maybe one for brew tubers specifically, and then the other one for the commercial stuff. But yeah, we're certainly starting to run out of room, so I'm gonna have to address that. All right, again, cheers, and we will see you guys on the next one. Take care, have a good night.